Derbyshire Artsword.
My name's Larry Waller. I'm a resident in Belper, and for the purposes of this interview, I'm directing Nell Gwynn. I was an actor for about 15 years, worked professionally for about 15 years, and decided to go back to university, and in that process became part of the University Drama Society, and after that directed a number of shows and kind of got a bit of a bug for it. Found out I was a much better director than I was an actor, loved it much more, enjoyed the process. Maybe it's a bit of control thing going on, I don't know, but really enjoyed it, and consequences of that are, I think this is show number 26, I think, 25, 26. Through my career of directing, there's a couple that stand out that really grabbed me. I did Bouncers by John Godber with 4 very young actors at Portsmouth University. And they were brilliant, and they were completely fearless, and used music from the 80s, and that was a great experience. So I thoroughly enjoyed doing that, and that stood out. I directed Macbeth in Portsmouth, which I thoroughly enjoyed, in a big old auditorium that seated 2,000 people, and we thought we'd get a couple of hundred people, and that year Macbeth was on the syllabus, and we ended up with the theatre full, and there was this little drama society in Portsmouth ended up with the biggest bank account of any of the societies because they made a lot of money out of it, so that was really, really positive. So that was good. And I guess more recently, working at the Strutts Centre, I've started this kind of way of working in the round in the main hall, and last year we did Hamp, and that was a really special experience. It was a really, really special performance by the actors, and I think that it was very difficult not to be touched by it, particularly because it's about World War I, and obviously we're at a time where we're remembering 100 years on from the carnage which was World War I. Nell Gwynn is a play that evolved out of one of the drama schools in London. I think it was LAMDA actually, and then it was taken on by the Globe, and they did a West End production of it, which I didn't see, but managed somehow, I can't remember, to read the play, and I was taken with it instantly. It's funny, it's got some fantastic characters, and it's about a really important part of history. And it's not a history play, but it does touch on the idea of the Reformation. So Thomas Cromwell dies, and we're left in who's going to be his successor, and so we get Charles II, and that kind of puritanical view was just swept away. The theatres were opened, the gloves were off, and never before in this country since have we seen the kind of behaviour change from a really kind of closed puritanical set of behaviours to something that was completely outrageous. I mean, you only have to read Samuel Pepys's diaries to see the kind of things that I'm talking about, and then it's all translated beautifully into this play. It's bawdy, it's funny, the songs are really uplifting, and it's an actor's dream. So I kind of thought, why not? I think I've got a group of actors in Belper who could do this. Why not take the leap, really, with a quite complicated piece of theatre? I think I do have a certain style to how I work. What I don't do is take any script at face value. I kind of take the script, work with the actors to create a piece of theatre. I have this kind of mantra, which is just don't read the stage directions, just don't read the stage directions, let's create our own piece of theatre. And I try to make that as real as I can, and I try to make that as creative as I can. I like, I guess, big narrative type bits of theatre. While theatre that is very real and kind of tries to be naturalistic is fantastic, it's not where my strength lies. Thus far, I haven't really tried directing many pieces like that. And Hamp was a little bit like that, I guess. Whereas I think I like the idea of costume drama, I like the idea of history, I like the idea of creating characters that are bigger than life itself, because let's face it, life can be quite mundane. So there's nothing better than going to the theatre and seeing these crazy characters in front of you that make you smile and make you laugh. So yeah, I guess that's been my style of working. I love Dickens, I love narrative and stories, and I love telling stories and big stories. And that's what Nell Gwynn is, certainly. It's a very big story about a lady who, went from being somebody who sold oranges, and let's face it, she was a prostitute, who became the concubine, the lover to the King of England, Charles II. And there's a journey and a half to go through. So that's a big story, and all the bits that come along with that. So yeah. So the main characters in this, I guess the whole play kind of latches to Nell herself, played by Megan, who is chucking out a wonderful performance. And she meets in a theatre Charles Hart, who is the most prestigious actor in the country at that time, and he takes her under his wing and teaches her. She can't read, so she has to learn everything by rote. And then Charles II comes into the theatre and sees her and falls in love with her. So we have Dan Skidmore playing Charles Hart, and we have Luke Barrett, who's playing Charles II, and the dynamic between the three of them is utterly superb. They're doing a fantastic job, very, very funny. And Megan has 26 scenes in this play. She's in 23 of them. So it's enormous. It's an enormous part, and she's doing exceptionally well. Nell Gwynn is on the 17th, 18th and 19th of May, and there's a matinee on the 19th at 2:30. If you want to get tickets, you can do so on the Belper Arts Festival website. You can get them from Oxfam on the High Street, on King Street in Belper, and they are accessible for all performances. So you should be all right. And I would say it's a little bit rude in places, probably appropriate for over 13-year-olds. There's a couple of bawdy jokes that kind of cross the line. I guess it's a little bit like a carry-on film, so you kind of got to make your own choice there. It doesn't go any more extreme than that, but it's fun. Those in the community who love theatre, come along, you'll love it. Those in the community who don't necessarily love theatre, come along, you'll love it, because it's a really good show.
Derbyshire Artsword.
Now posso accreditarmi so, come usa, come do pudim, suino pallido?
I can't believe this. How dare he, the eater of pudding, the pale-faced swine!
Stido meo camino pinto flacido, ti vese nunca pesado, vos no país congelado, vos so todos bastardos.
Get out of my way, you flaccid. I wish I never set foot in your stupid frozen country. You're all...
I'm Nell Gwynn. Come and see me from the 17th to the 19th of May at Strutts Community Centre. You're in for a real treat.
Derbyshire Artsword.
Derwent Valley on demand.